Hello everyone, hope we are doing well. A couple of days ago, West Ham United were linked to James Ward-Prowse once more, and once again to Kalvin Phillips of Leeds United. I know what you're thinking, again, not in referral to the transfer rumours, but in referral to me doing a transfer rumour show. But yes, it's Saturday, let me have this one please, it's Saturday, let me do a transfer rumour show based on these two players. Also, I did a video yesterday with Trevor Sinclair, that was quite a good one if I do say so myself, and I will admit, got a little bit fanboyish. Before he came on the screen when I was waiting for him, he was going to come on the next minute or two. I was getting nervous for it. I was getting a little bit flustered. One of my childhood heroes growing up, one of my first heroes at West Ham United as well. So it was a bit of a big deal personally to have him on the channel. Also, big deal personally to me, we hit 24,000 subscribers and 10 million views on this channel in the last week. So a massive thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. Right, Gio, shut up. Get on with it. But first of all, in the article actually, there was a couple of things hidden in there that sort of didn't really get big attention because of the headline was obviously the two players being linked to. So the first one was that we're close to agreeing a deal for a centre-back, which wasn't named. But Gonzo's covering that today. He's doing the centre-back video. I know another transfer rumour show, but let him have it. It's Saturday, alright? And then the second one was that these players would be a replacement for Declan Rice. One of them would come in to replace Declan Rice. I guess this is the problem of the Rice contract story, if you like. It's the domino effect, isn't it? That story comes out, boom, 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 article after article, and we're no better, video after video after video about it. But we don't make up the rumours, we just chat about them. But I'm going to ignore that. For the sake of this video, I'm going to ignore the fact he's a replacement for Declan Rice, because I don't necessarily believe it. You know, we supposedly went after Kalvin Phillips in January. I guess it depends if you believe that or not, but supposedly we did, and it was to play alongside Declan Rice. It sort of makes sense, the Kalvin Phillips one. Let's start with that one, because obviously Leeds United are probably favourites to go down at this point. Between Leeds United, Burnley and Everton, Everton look like they've possibly done enough. They know the game in hand. Another win in the next 3 games, they're probably going to be okay. So pressure is on Leeds, who've got a tricky customer in Brighton this weekend. So Leeds United probably look favourites for the drop at the minute, and this would obviously then create a mad rush for Kalvin Phillips and Rafinha. Two players we were linked with, but we're ignoring Rafinha for this video. But Kalvin Phillips anyway. We won't be the only club after him. He is a little bit injury prone, and that worries me. I don't think he's got the best sort of injury record, if you like. He seems to be missing quite a bit. But I do think he's exceptional talent. I think I'd love to see him at West Ham alongside Declan Rice, if I'm honest with you. Because we've seen him play for England. I'm a bit wary of basing this off what I see for England, because it's completely different, isn't it? England have majority of possession in games, so on and so forth, whereas at West Ham they won't necessarily have that. But I would suggest that we're a bit more possession based this season than we were last season, because we've sort of got better, teams fear us a little bit more, they sit back a little bit more, therefore we have the ball a little bit more. And dare I say, I think we struggle a little bit more when we've got more possession. I think some teams have worked that out. Actually, you give us the ball and don't let us play counter-attacking football, it becomes a different question for West Ham. We don't always come up with the answers. So the Kalvin Phillips Declan Rice partnership, I think, is wonderful for England. I think it works really well. And if we want Rice next season to continue and probably to grow further in this new role that we see, I say new role, this role we've seen this season where he's a little bit more attacking, then I think Kalvin Phillips is the perfect partner to do that alongside. Somebody that is a traditional defensive midfielder, someone that will sit back and take the shackles off Declan Rice, let him go forward up the pitch like we've seen. And I think Kalvin Phillips would be a bit of a no-brainer in that aspect, if that's what David Moyes wanted to do. Regardless of his transfer fee, I don't believe he's got a release clause of that, but I'd imagine Leeds got relegated, you're looking at around about 40 million maybe a bit less for that, 25-40 million, somewhere in that bracket. But the problem is, there'll be a lot of other clubs interested as well. You know, he's been linked to Manchester United quite a bit. I'd be surprised by that. I'd be surprised if Erik ten Hag was okay with it, bearing in mind he's quite new. I say new, he's not at Man United yet, but I'd imagine his dossier of players is quite small, and I think there's a little bit of pressure on Ten Hag to sort of get a couple of big signings, a couple of like headline signings. Is Kalvin Phillips that? I'm not too sure. We know Aston Villa had a bid rejected for him in the January transfer window. That's another club we're going to have to discuss in regards to James Ward-Prowse, because they're after a centre midfielder. They're crying out for somebody to play centre midfield. So if Leeds go down, expect Kalvin Phillips to be a big interest. Would I have Kalvin Phillips at West Ham? 100%. Would I have him to replace Declan Rice if Declan Rice left this summer? Do you know something? I think we could do a lot worse. I think we could. Obviously, there would probably be alternatives to Kalvin Phillips out there in European football that would probably be cheaper and arguably even better. But the question is, who are they? Do we know about these players? I don't know. I don't know about them anyway. So Kalvin Phillips, it's a yes for me. Now, before we discuss James Ward-Prowse, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. I know it's Saturday. Everybody wants to have a relaxing Saturday. But this 15 seconds of doing a job on a Saturday, because it's important, isn't it? The weekend when there's no West Ham on that day, you've got to get a few chores done, haven't you? Well, add this to your chore list. Get the OneFootball app downloaded. It's completely free. Because while it's 15 seconds of hassle today, for the rest of the week, for next month, for the following month, for the rest of the season, but next season, you'll be glad you did. It is fantastic, and I'm not just saying that. We've used the OneFootball app before they sponsored us, and then they stopped sponsoring us for a little while, and we kept using it every single day. And they're collaborating with us again. They're big supporters of the channel, which we greatly appreciate. And it's thanks to you guys that keep downloading it. They keep sponsoring us. But with the transfer window coming up, less than 5 weeks away now, all the transfer rumours are on the OneFootball app. Big game tomorrow against Manchester City. All the team news is on the OneFootball app. And an hour before kick-off tomorrow, so 1 PM, if you've already downloaded it and selected West Ham as your favourite team, you'll get a notification with the lineups for West Ham and the Man City. It's very, very helpful actually. Takes 15 seconds, completely free. Link in description. Click it, download it. Happy days. Now, James Ward-Prowse, right. Anyone that's watched Hammers Chat for, I don't know, I would say a year, maybe 2 years, would know I love James Ward-Prowse. There's always players I'd really like to see at West Ham, and they change naturally. My first love was for Danny Ings probably a few years ago, for the real old Hammers Chat people. Ollie Watkins is probably the striker at the minute. Basuma, I've been a big fan of him, and James Ward-Prowse. Aaron Hickey currently, but I've got a series coming up once the season's finished regarding players I'd love to see at West Ham, but we'll leave that. James Ward-Prowse has been one of those players. I'm not sure anymore. Now, it's not his age. He's 27 years old. That's fine. I'm okay with that one. I think there's a weird... I'm probably guilty of it by assuming a player hits his peak when he's 27, 28, 29 years old and then starts to decline. And a lot of footballers do. But not everybody does. You know, you look around the Premier League at the minute. You've got Ronaldo, age 37, Thiago Silva, age 57. And there's a lot of players in their 30s doing it, isn't there? We've got West Ham, we've got Creswell, Antonio, Dawson. So the age thing doesn't bother me. I have hesitations over how he would fit into our centre midfield alongside Declan Rice, say. I'm not sure. I think Ward-Prowse excels at Southampton because he's got Romeo there, which allows Ward-Prowse to wander. He doesn't necessarily burst forward or anything like that, but sometimes he'll just drift 15 yards to one of the sides and leave a big gap in the middle of the pitch, but Romeo fills it and allows Ward-Prowse to then deliver crosses like he's a winger. Ward-Prowse needs to wander. He almost needs a free role in the centre midfield. To get the best out of it, you have to take the shackles off Ward-Prowse. Like I said, he doesn't necessarily go forward, but he certainly goes left to right in order to go join up with the play on whichever side the pitch is, get crosses in from deep, try the through balls, whatever. And he links up everything Southampton does. And I absolutely love him. I think he's a wonderful player. The best set piece taker in the Premier League. Can you imagine David Moyes and Pat Nevins set pieces with James Ward-Prowse pinging them in? Crikey, we'd be alright, wouldn't we? We'd be scoring a header every single game. Now, for as much as I love Ward-Prowse, and this isn't necessarily about him, I just think he's Southampton's main man. Is Southampton wired to get the best out of Ward-Prowse? Possibly not, because I think it would be somewhat foolish to some extent to get a centre midfielder as your main man. But certainly the midfield, the partnership in midfield is based around getting the best out of Ward-Prowse, and that makes sense. Would he have that at West Ham? I'm not too sure. But he's still a wonderful player. Would still love to see him. I think I'm almost convinced myself I want him. No, I'm not. The reason being, last summer he signed a 5-year deal at Southampton. So Southampton are in a fantastic negotiating position here, first of all. Anyone goes knocking for James Ward-Prowse, you better bring your chequebook. And when we're sitting demanding 150 million for Declan Rice, what Southampton can be wanting for Ward-Prowse? 40, 50 million? Is he worth that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure he is. I think that's when it gets a little bit too expensive for me. And it's a shame because I'm doing my best to sort of not have any criticism of James Ward-Prowse against, because I don't really have any. You know, he works hard, can do it defensively, can do it offensively. 10 goals this season in all competitions. It's almost like Dimitri Payet-esque levels. When you get a free kick outside the box, you're rubbing your hands because he's probably going to hit the target with his free kick. He's got a chance to score a goal for you. But alongside Declan Rice, I'm not too sure about. As a replacement for Declan Rice, again, I'm not too sure about, because if Declan Rice was to go this summer, I think there's a little bit of pressure on Moyes actually to then get the best out of Thomas Souček, because we've not seen it this season. We've not seen the best out of Souček. Now, we've all got our own reasons for that. We've all got our own theories as to why we've not seen the best out of Thomas Souček. But it then becomes up to the manager. And I think we're okay with not getting the best out of Thomas while we've got Declan Rice playing world class week in, week out in centre midfield, because it's almost like, well, to get the best out of Declan Rice, unfortunately, part of Thomas's game is sacrifice, this, that and the other. It's fine. Because of the performances of Rice, you almost put up with it to some extent. But if Rice was to leave, I think there becomes a little bit of a pressure on Moyes actually say, well, you need to now get the first season Thomas Souček back immediately, otherwise we're in trouble next season in the middle of the park. Could WardProwse work alongside Thomas Souček? Again, I'm not convinced. I think we'd have the same problem that we've got at the minute, which is a centre midfielder that wants to get forward but can't, because the guy next to him is also moving around the pitch and stuff, and one of them's got to be restrained a little bit and be a bit more disciplined than the other. And WardProwse, I don't want to see him come here and have the shackles on WardProwse, because to get the best out of him, I think you do have to allow him to move all over the pitch, to let him go where the play is, let him work out where to go, because he's talented enough, he's intelligent enough. And I think that's the beauty of James Ward-Prowse, if you like, his reading of the game as well as his deliveries. So it's a difficult one really. So Kalvin Phillips, yes, I would like to see him at West Ham. James Ward-Prowse. Now listen, if we signed James Ward-Prowse, I'd come on here and I'd be buzzing with it. I would be. I'd be a little bit wary in regards to the fee and how it's going to work, but I would be excited, because what we'll suggest this season, there has been some games I think we could have done with playing 3 centre midfielders and we haven't. We've got run over in the middle of the park. I think Souček and Rice has just got done because the opposition's got an extra man in there, and our extra man is somewhere else on the park, usually sort of in the attacking position area, and we haven't utilised it. We haven't capitalised on having the extra man elsewhere, whereas the teams that come at us in the middle of the pitch, I think, tend to do quite well. So actually I think having a other centre midfielder of extremely high standard would not be a bad thing for West Ham. It would give us a lot of flexibility going forward next season in terms of formations and tactics and personnel on the pitch. It would also allow, when a player like Souček is out of form, or if Declan Rice was out of form, you can take them out. The problem, I think one of the issues with Souček, this isn't the reason he's been playing poorly by his own standards, but why perhaps we've just wrung everything out of him. We've ran him into the ground, Souček, because there's no replacement. You know, we have Mark Noble, we have Alex Kral. One's getting on a bit and can't play to the level that Souček and Rice do, and the other one is just not fancied by the manager. So to have another centre midfielder in the squad of the same level or similar level, who Moyes trusts enough to say to Souček, look mate, I'm going to keep you out this week, you need a bit of rest, have a breather, going to put him in, you can get back in next week. That would be an unbelievable one. We had a centre back situation in the last few weeks, haven't we? And there was a lot of talk, could it be Declan Rice, should it be Declan Rice? And everybody that said no, and I was one of them, but the reason I said no was we're going to miss him in centre midfield, which I still think we would have, but part of that was because there was no one adequate to bring in. So actually having 3 top centre midfielders, we've already got 2, having a third one next season would be a huge benefit to the club. And I think in a weird way, I think it allows Connor Coventry to be the 4th centre midfielder. I think if you go get, say, someone like Josh Brownhill, who's a good Premier League midfielder, but that's it, he's not as good as Kalvin Phillips and James Ward-Prowse. You go get Josh Brownhill. Is Connor Coventry good enough to be the 4th centre midfielder? I'd be a bit wary, because I think it's due to my lack of confidence on Brownhill coming in and doing that well. But because I think Ward-Prowse or Phillips would do that well, I think Coventry would be more than fine to have a squad role next season as a centre midfielder. Anyway, so there you go. A bit of blabbering for Saturday morning. The sun's out, as you can see. I hope whatever you guys are up to, you have a good day. FA Cup final later. Should be a good game. I'm looking forward to it, actually. I'm looking forward to watching it. I've decided. I've cancelled my BT subscription. It's on a monthly basis anyway. So it was coming up to the end of the season. So I thought, right, get rid of it for a couple of months. Save myself £40. Happy days. And I thought, what games have I got left to watch? I thought the Champions League final, you can watch it anyway. BT always give it for free. Europa Conference League final, I'm not that bothered by it. Then Europa League, I thought, I'm not watching that. I'll be honest, can't watch the Europa League final this year. I think it'll hurt too much. So BT is gone. Europa League final access for Gio is gone as well. Hopes of getting James Ward-Prowse never really existed. Hopes of getting Kalvin Phillips though probably increased a little bit due to Leeds United staying relegation in the face. But one thing's for sure, there's going to be loads and loads more rumours. Match day tomorrow, Gonzo will be live at 12:55, so if you're not going to the game, please do come back for the build-up show at 12:55, and we'll catch you then. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, subscribe to your channel, and anyway, the Trevor Sinclair video is going to be on the screen in a minute. Go give it a watch.